Onboarding the next billion users. Marketing for blockchain entrepreneurs.
Hi everyone, my name is Lana Makhzoumi. I am the Managing Director at Luna PR. I also am the host of a Web3 podcast called Tech It or Leave It, and the Middle East #1 dating podcast, Tell Me Everything with Lance. I'm so excited to bring on stage our speakers today. We have Rivera, Head of Web3 Operations at Myco. Round of applause. Woo, okay. Hi, welcome. We have Faisal, the presidency at Exscape. President, come on up. And we have Hrish, co-founder and CEO at SuperWorld. Hi, guys. Hi. Want to grab your mics? Do you have one over there? All good? Okay, you have to turn them on. I'm very excited to be discussing this topic since I work in PR and marketing. So I'm going to start off the panel with a question. So in the past year, even 6 months, Web3 and crypto has become more of a hot topic, let's say, and mainstream adoption is happening. The market's really down right now, but it's happening. My question is, the average person might feel Web3 and crypto is quite intimidating. From your perspective, what do you think is the biggest barrier preventing mass adoption? Yeah, I think just.
Can you hear me? Yeah, there you go. Okay. Yeah, I think the biggest thing is that many people need a very specific use case that is a pill, like an aspirin pill versus like a vitamin. I think right now it's kind of seen as this, okay, I kind of get why I would need that, but do I really need that kind of thing? Do I have to have that? And I think those kinds of use cases are preventing people from like taking the jump, because there's always so much fear around, whether it's getting a wallet or maybe they've heard about crypto and they have a negative connotation. So I think the thing that's kind of going to help people kind of bridge that is having that thing that is a necessity in their life that they have to do, and then seeing the value from what Web3 is going to offer us. And I think when we have use cases that do that, I think you're going to find that users kind of bridge that divide.
It kind of builds the trust as well. What about you?
I think it's partly, educational a bit, because there is a learning curve. But I think the real key is using blockchain as a tool. Having a use case where blockchain happens at the back end. Because if I want to get my mother into like Web3, she's not going to be trading meme coins. She's going to use a product with blockchain used as a tool without her knowing it. So I think that's the best way to get Web2 users into Web3.
But I'll add to what Ryan said. Right now, as far as you can see, the reason that adoption isn't happening at the scale that we want it to is because there is a lot of friction in onboarding. And one of the ways to overcome that is by not talking about blockchain in Web3. It's water under the carpet. People don't need to realize that they're interacting with blockchain. They don't need to interact with NFTs. They don't need to interact with wallets. They don't need to do that entire process. And once it's like in Web2, we didn't talk about how it works. Like Web3, everyone, like the first instance is to talk about how do you get on board and your private keys and your wallet. And so there is a huge amount of friction. So once you abstract the friction out of it, it'll be a lot easier for people to onboard. And most of them won't even realize that they're already onboarded onto blockchain.
I also think, because I work in PR and social marketing, it's all about education. And I think kind of like what you touched on, the fear factor kind of can be debunked through like educational campaigns and simplifying it. My next question is, so Web3 marketing is very different to Web2 marketing, right? Community plays a bigger role when it comes to Web3 marketing. What marketing strategies have you seen successful in attracting and retaining users?
So I think that's totally correct that in Web3, because we're talking about digital property rights and we're talking about community members becoming stakeholders on the platform, I think marketing strategies that, educate, as you said, but also bring along these users into really feeling the understanding that this opportunity to be a stakeholder has some real benefits to them in a long-term way. So in terms of the product we're building at SuperWorld, people are able to acquire real-world locations, as an example. And because of that, in their own life, these places in the real world, in their daily lives, mean something to them, whether it's where their business is or maybe where they live. Maybe they have, maybe a favorite sports team that they go and see every Sunday, or maybe places that they like to visit, or maybe where they grew up. And so this kind of connection to their real life, but then their real friends, their real community. So I think back to Web3 marketing, when you can bring a product into someone's real life and enable that, Web3 element, the becoming a stakeholder, digital property rights, to have real utility for them and a real connection to them, and put that into a marketing campaign where you have education, but you have some level of activation where they can now interact with that product in a way and realize the benefits of owning a place. Maybe it's putting content somewhere or being able to monetize because they have a connection to a place. I think that's very interesting. So they get educated, they're able to interact, they're able to see the benefits of this technology, and they're able to do it in a way that is very native to them, whatever that means, where they live, where they grow up, where they work, the things that they do in their real life.
Yeah, I think marketing is very intricate. Like with us on our platform, we just crossed 20 million registered users, so we can market to the Web 2 audience that are coming to the platform, but that's also completely different from a Web 3 audience. And the Web 3 audience, if you're like marketing for a token, that changes every cycle. When I first got into crypto, people were getting on Reddit, like crypto moonshots, everything like that, and then it kind of switched to YouTubers, and then it switched to Telegram, and now it's on X. So this changes with the market all the time, but he's correct here that I think the biggest part, not only of marketing, and it's how you communicate to those users. Because you can have an excellent product, you can have everything in place, but if people don't believe in you, they're not going to buy in. And it's one, I guess, area that's great because people are making an investment with token. It's almost like them having a share of equity with the growth, which is pretty amazing. So I think it takes a lot of work. It's very different. But if you give people belief and an emotional connection in what you're building, and they invest in you, they'll never leave.
I would agree with what Ryan just said. The main difference between Web 2 and Web 3 is the community angle. And once you have businesses that have created a structure where the community is vested in, they're going to stay for a longer period of time because their profit at the end is based on how well your business does. And that's when they turn into evangelists. Like, one of the best things that I've seen with projects is when the people that you're onboarding start marketing for you. Right? You don't have to do it yourself. You've got hundreds of thousands of people that are pushing your project, that are talking about your project. And the second part of it is the utility. As long as there is a continuous utility, as people can earn or people can get rewards or real life experiences and the different kinds of stuff that Hrish was talking about as well, then they do stay for a longer period of time, and that converts them into evangelists, that converts them into supporters of the project, that help drive it to even more users than you could with traditional marketing efforts.
I think you kind of touched on a point as well as having like kind of micro KOLs or like influencers that are promoting your product to others without being a KOL. I actually have a follow-up question. How important do you believe KOLs, influencers on X, whether it's YouTube, Telegram, are important to marketing a product and onboarding or reaching out to the Web 2 audience?
I think I have a good answer for this. So I think it's very different. It's the same as a company investment. It's not so important for us. Like, you can get funding if you have a good product from anybody. You can pay people for marketing for anything. But you want to find those people, maybe those KOLs that actually believe in you. So if it's token-based, you want to have a great vesting schedule. Because most people will invest early, you give them the token, they bring the growth, and then they dump on you. You know, so finding the right people to market your product, I think, is extremely important.
Well, it's like I'd make the comparison between Web 2 and Web 3. From larger influencers, now micro influencers, and more communities are developing in which you've got products that people are more passionate about instead of just being given money to do that. And in Web 3, you're seeing the same thing. I would rather go buy a token that Ryan tells me about than if I hear it from a large influencer that comes on board. So it is becoming more and more valuable as more people are getting onboarded and more information is being shared amongst smaller communities.
Yeah, I think that as we kind of develop products that have real-world utility and go into these use cases as we discussed, I think the type of influencer kinds of changes. Just as the Web3 on the technology side, as Faisal says, gets abstracted away, I think the Web3 influencer gets abstracted away, and you have an influencer, whether it's sports or travel or any one of the categories that we think of traditionally. They are an influencer, and maybe they're a micro influencer, and maybe the product is a Web3 product, but no one in that interaction is really talking about the Web3 aspect of it. They're talking about the benefits of using a product or being part of a community. Yeah. And so I think it's still very important, just as it is in the traditional world, and especially if you have products where the influencers and the micro-influencers, or as you said, any user could become a micro-influencer by using the product and benefiting from the product, which I think is the essence of what we're building in Web3. So.
And it's organic and authentic,
exactly.
Yeah. So I'm curious how this question will be answered, but basically my question is, because I've been having a lot of conversations about this with people in the marketing and the PR industry, but as the market goes through a bear market, a bull market, and it fluctuates, your marketing strategy has to pivot. So when we're in a bear market or a bull market, from your perspective, how does your marketing strategy pivot in order to appeal to the Web 2 and Web 3 audiences?
Could I?
Yeah, go ahead.
So if your marketing is based on the like the bull and the bear cycle, then your product is basically speculative hype. Mm-hmm. There's nothing else to it. It's not a correct market fit. Like, what if crypto wasn't there? Is your product still going to be used? Or if you take out the blockchain angle, is it still going to hold its purpose? If it doesn't, then it's just a token that's going to go up and down with the market. And based on that, if your product does not follow the cycle, then you just follow normal marketing methods, and people will go for the utility. People will go for the long-term value instead of just, sell it when it's up and buy it when it's down. Yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Because if you have a platform or business that's bringing in outside revenue, that's supporting the the Web3 token ecosystem, whatever it may be. If it's only token, just by the way DEX LPs work, it's going to follow the market anyways. So I totally agree. If Web3, because Web3 is just a tool for a business. It shouldn't be the whole business. We spoke about it earlier. So if you're building a business, if Web3 was gone, are you still profitable?
I think during bull markets, I think by nature you have a lot more mainstream interest in the products that we're building and a lot more attention, but there's also a lot of noise. And I think that, as a marketer, you have to evaluate your ROI on spend in a bull market, maybe slightly differently than you might have to do in a bear market, where you can get a lot more interest, or there's less noise out there in the market for any activation that you do. So I think those are factors you got to look at. But I do agree that ultimately this is if you're building a product that has utility and value. You should be talking about those things as opposed to kind of just capitalizing on the pure aspects of the market as it warms and cools through those cycles. Overall, though, I think that as more and more users get into Web3, I think that some of that stuff is going to level off. because it's just, there are going to be cycles, but you're going to be more consistent in that messaging because there's always going to be people that have that interest in the product, right? They understand that this is here to stay, and it's not something you have to capitalize only on in a bull market versus a bear market.
Yeah, I completely agree. So my last question is, if you could give a piece of advice to either yourself or another entrepreneur on attracting new users and retaining them, what would it be?
Well, I would say stop selling Web3 and start selling solutions.
Nice, yeah.
Because at Exscape, we are an interactive media ecosystem, and we've started primarily in developing countries. So like starting with Africa, with India, with South America. And the problem that we're dealing over there is, forget about wallets, people don't even have bank accounts. So we're trying to charge them through their mobile phones. And the way we're looking at blockchain and blockchain solutions is by integrating it. Like the users don't need to know. The way we're making our transactions more secure, the way we're making their identities more secure, the way we're making their transactions flow seamlessly and have a record for regulators, they don't need to know about it. But they will be onboarded before even having a bank account. They'll be onboarded onto blockchain, right? So it's just stop selling Web3 and start focusing on the solutions.
Yeah, I agree with that as well. I think if I was speaking to myself starting over in the business, I think that I would say if you're building everything yourself, like it's okay to fail. Like if you're doing it yourself, you're okay to find mistakes and start again and redo it. From a marketing aspect, I think marketing towards your product, because that's going to be long-time revenue that supports the token anyway. Because like I said, I think Web3 is only a tool in this space. And then also, if I could speak to young entrepreneurs, it's very important to have the right people in the right places, right? Because if you get people that come from a background, like let's say our CEO, his name's Phil McKinsey, he's an Oscar winner, BAFTA award winner, because we decentralize content. So having him in that correct place comes with his background, and he knows how things work. So when you're growing a team in a company, it's super important to have the right people in the right place.
Yeah, I think that the important part is as you're attracting users to educate them. So, I definitely believe that we should abstract away the Web3 aspects of that. However, I think it's also important to kind of highlight the value of that because, I think there is a revolution here going on, and I think by being educated about why you want to have digital asset ownership is an important facet or a nuance of that journey, because it's almost like if you think of Bitcoin, if you own Bitcoin but you don't know why you own Bitcoin, it's not as powerful as if you understand why it's important and you know some of the facets of that. So I think that education about the difference between Web 2 and Web 3 is important. It shouldn't be the only thing, clearly. And then I also think, again, to the point of, how do you get these users to also utilize the product in a way that is native to them, so they're actually, benefiting from the product. They're doing it in a way that's frictionless, I think was brought up earlier. And again, it's something that they can realize the value and share the value with others, whether it's because of the education of understanding that, and also the feeling and the benefits that they're getting from using the Web3 product. And I think if you can do those things, this is a very long-term kind of customer relationship that you're building, because they're becoming an advocate, they're becoming a user, and they're benefiting from that daily interaction, and they're getting value.
I think I completely agree with all of you. And you touched on, Faisal, a good point about solutions. So whenever we have whenever we're trying to promote, let's say, a product, we're promoting the solution, not just selling, onboard. And I think that's crucial, doing it through communication channels that kind of resonates with the Web 2 audience. And I think mainstream media right now, we're seeing are kind of onboarding crypto, Web 3, you're getting the CNN, CNBCs of the world, kind of talking about these topics, which I think creates awareness to that Web 2 audience. Thank you guys so much. That was a great panel. Thank you guys for listening.
Good job. Let's do a group photo.
We love you, Faisal. We love you, Lana. We love you, Hrish. We love you all.
You're the only panel that got this universal acclaim of love. So I'm not sure what it means, but it's really nice. Oh, yeah? So it's just like a fireside chat kind of. Good job. Okay, big round of applause for the panel and all the love they got. Big round of applause. Thank you. All right, Luna in the lead. I love it. All right, we either have a panel or a fireside chat next. I'm not quite sure. It's maximizing Web3 engagement using AI to its full potential. So Maurizio, moderator Maurizio from Mr. M Podcast, are you here? Maurizio, please come to the stage. Thank you very much. Big round of applause.
Maximizing Web3
Assad,
engagement
are you here?
using AI to its full potential.
There he is. No, you don't have to text him. He's here. Okay, I guess it's two. Let's call this a fireside chat. Yeah, why not? Okay, enjoy. Thank you. Big round of applause. Oh my God. Big round of applause! Okay, there you go. Thank you.
Thank you.
Test.
All right. Sorry, guys. We had to use the restroom. You know, it happens. All right. Joining us today, we have Assad, CVO, best job ever, Chief Visionary Officer, right? For Medieval Empires, a leading web strategy game, Web3. You actually raised successfully over $10 million for that one, so congrats. Also the founder of Oya, the AI-first Web3 gaming publisher, focusing on revolutionizing how games are developing and published using AI technology. Amazing. With your expertise in Web3 and AI, you have a unique perspective on this technology, and I'm excited to talk to you and see what you're going to tell us.
I think you also have some good expertise. So I heard you're doing some cool crypto shows, so maybe you can also talk about that quickly.
Sure. If you enjoy this type of conversation, I have a podcast. It's called Mr. M. I just published a Charles Hoskinson discussion, which has gone really well. So stay tuned on that one. I enjoy talking to people, as you can imagine, so it's really good. And I always have good guests, which is nice. AI. Okay, I have a few questions for you. How can AI enhance user engagement and growth in Web3 projects?
Yeah, before we jump into that, let's quickly talk about AI in general, like very quickly, because I believe that people saying at the moment that AI is hyped in the space and stuff like that, but I think it's actually not hyped at all. I think it's much too less because people still don't understand what a big change this is in all kind of industries, on how much less people you need to be more efficient or as efficient as someone else with 2 more employees or 10 more employees. So you can actually scale up with 2 or 3 people business and make a lot of money. And this is what we see right now. There are a lot of AI businesses who make like 100 million, 50 million, 10 million with like a 3 to 5 people business. So it's crazy huge, and that's why it's, I think, very important to talk about it. And today we focus a little bit on the engagement part. So, yeah, I mean, how to, the first question was the engagement, right?
Exactly. So, yeah, what are also in AI engagement with Web3 projects?
Yeah, so I think, like he already introduced myself, but I worked 15 years in the pharmaceutical area. I was an IT consultant and then a head of digital marketing and then a digital transformation director for very big brands like aspirin, the headache pill. And when I was there, we had a lot to do with blockchain and AI, and I researched a lot for the healthcare industry. And then I turned into building my own game and then my own gaming publisher after that, because I truly believe in 2 things. One thing is ownership on the blockchain, and the second thing is that AI will disrupt any industry which is out there in the world. And that's why it was really like an idea to build Oya, which is an AI-first Web3 gaming publisher. Why AI first? Because there are so many open points in a publisher, from looking for games, growing a community, to user acquisition and saving money there. There's so many steps, and in between there are much more. And if we talk about user engagement, I think talking about my game I started 3 years ago, like it's called Medieval Empires, it's a Web3 strategy game. We didn't use AI at the beginning a lot. And we had like a lot of giveaways on Twitter. I mean, we have a big following of like 400,000 on socials. And we had always people doing the giveaways or the engagement with the community, right? We have our marketing guys, our community managers. But now, like in the last year, we thought about how to use AI to make this more efficient. And with Oya, the AI first gaming publisher, we took it to another level. Now we have basically an AI agent who is doing giveaways by herself. So what does it mean? It just means, you know, people want to engage with something on Twitter. They want to win something. They want to earn something. They want to get some information. And now this AI agent is a person, basically. She has her own wallet. This wallet is open. People can see how much money is on this wallet. And that's her salary, more or less. And she's doing a riddle by herself on Twitter. And then people can answer as a message on Twitter. And then she will choose by herself the winner. We don't do anything. And then if she chooses the winner, like the winner can give the wallet to her in a private message, and she will send the money to the user by herself. So we don't do anything. Obviously, we're testing it. At the beginning, there's a step in between where we check it, and we need to click one time OK before it's happening. But she is able to do it by herself. And with that, just with this small thing, because you can do it every 3 days, every 5 days, whatsoever, you save a lot of time because you don't need a community manager or anyone choosing the riddle and then choosing the winners and then check the wallet, send the wallet. All of that is completely automized. Like we don't need to do anything.
Have you seen the video of the two AI agents talking to each other? There's like a laptop with a phone, and the phone agent wants to book an hotel, and he's talking to the laptop agents, and they recognize each other. They're both AI, so they switch into a different language. So I agree with you. Even though AI is going super fast, I think it's not even leveraged much. I kind of gave up my Google searches. I ask ChatGPT most of the time. I don't know if you feel...
Yeah, it's the same for me. I don't use Google at all anymore. Like, it's crazy. And
it's cool, right?
But this actually happens because people always want to have fast answers. They don't want to have like 20 answers and then choose. It's better sometimes because you get different angles. But in terms of efficiency and people want to have their answer quick, AI is obviously better because you ask a question, you get one answer, and you believe it or not. That's the question, right? Is it biased, maybe yes or no? So you need to check that, but you get one answer, and people love that. So that's why it makes sense.
Yeah, no, I agree. And how do you think it's going to impact the communities, specifically in AI and Web3? So how communities of people are going to be impacted by this technology?
Yeah, I think this is just a start to have an AI agent who's doing the riddles and everything. But at the same time, look, people use newsletters, for example, right, to reach out to a community, or they do AMAs or whatsoever. You can automate that too with an AI agent. And it's the same what we do with Oya-san. Oya-san is our Japanese anime character. She's a brand ambassador. We are actually not out yet, so we are testing it like in secret. We will be announcing everything like in 2 weeks or so. But it's already working. So basically, people talk to her in a private message, and she will give all the answers, right? You can also use her as a ChatGPT, basically, but for free. So you can engage with her, but she has her own personality. And then it's a little bit more interesting, because if you chat with someone and ask questions who has a personality, it feels a little bit more personal, right? Like it feels like I'm talking to someone and not just to a machine. And then if people start to engage with her and they're using her, this channel, it can be on Discord. She's connected to Discord, to Twitter, to Telegram. So any social channel, you can chat with her. And if this chat is one time open on WhatsApp, Telegram, Discord, and we have to consent to talk to the person, we will get, because they get for free. They can talk, ask anything, make riddles even in a private message, they can win something. This is actually the channel we use to approach users. So we don't send out newsletters, we don't do private message on Twitter and they are annoyed, but they get a message from someone they already engaged with and they already like. So the chance and the opening rate and the reading rate of everything we send, it will be like much higher compared to usual channels you use, right? And that's really, I think, a very good showcase on, and this is just the start, like, and it's already possible. We already developed the tech.
Doing it now.
It's already possible, right? Like, it's something to do, but it's not like crazy heavy to do it or something like that.
And I think crypto also is going to speed up, because imagine an AI agent with a bank account. I mean, it's not going to happen, right? So crypto now is going to allow agents to pay people, like you said, and interact with users, maybe real, maybe other agent.
Yeah.
So it's going to be crazy.
Actually, the whole idea was really to make her an AI employee and with real salary. But the issue is that our lawyers said it's an issue in a lot of legislations, so better don't do it because you will maybe have an issue. So that's why now it's a brand ambassador. She's a brand ambassador with her own money, let's say. So this is what we can do. But it would be much more exciting if she would be actually employee and then have her own money and she's giving her money away because she's nice to people, basically.
Yeah, that's for sure. And how do you think it's going to help with the retention in Web3?
I think it's directly connected to that. Like, it's always, people always need some new content. They always need to be entertained. They need to have some stuff. And they need to have it in a very easy way, in a channel where they are and not where you want them to be. That's why Oya's son is on Discord, on Twitter, and Telegram, and she already has the channel open with her. And she will engage from time to time. She will learn, like, what are these people interested in? And then we will have a database of users, and we know their interests. Are they more into the gaming part, more into the AI part, more into riddles to earn something? So we have different target groups, and then if we put out a message to reach these people, we will always, let's say we have 3 main target groups, and we will make the message very personalized to these people who are there. And that's much more engaging, obviously. I mean, this is what we know from market. I worked for like a lot of millions with these big brands and did marketing for them. So I understand how personalized marketing is obviously much better. And with the data you gather with the users on Twitter, Discord, and Telegram, you can make it much more personalized and much better. And the personalization is again based on AI. You can use AI and tell AI, okay, give me now a personalized message to this kind of persona, right? So it will directly do it for you. So where you needed some content writers and marketing people to think about it and spend some days to make it happen, you can use AI, customize it to the target groups. Obviously, still someone needs to check it, final check, but you save like 3 days, something like that.
It's the same in programming, right? So I think we moved from a bunch of people programming code to a bunch of people auditing code that AI is producing. Because I don't think we are to a point where code is, quote, good enough to be used, but if you have a good developer, he or she could audit the code that the AI is producing. Same for these campaigns, those ideas. You will need still humans making sure that whatever the AI is doing is on check, but they could have an exponential amount of growth as opposed to actually people doing it in real time. I mean, long way we've gone from...
Yeah, I mean, it's... developers use it a lot. Like, we have my blockchain developer here in the front, so he's very talented, but he's also using it, obviously. Even art people, I talk, like in my other startup, Medieval Empires, my art director is from Disney, so he's like very passionate art guy, and he's like, for him it's very hard to use AI, because he basically worked more than 30 years in the art industry, like for big movies and stuff like that, and for him it's like, I don't want to use it because I'm original, right? But at the end, it's much more efficient, especially in the phase of where you try to find a style which is appropriate to your game or whatsoever. It helps a lot to save time, because usually they need to draw different pictures, and then the people need to see and check, this is good, and then like he makes 5 different versions, 4 go into the trash, only 1 is okay, right? So there's a lot of time wasted, more or less. So AI also helps there a lot. So I'm so into AI, and I love it. And you still have people have issues to change, but this is also very common. As I said, I come from digital transformation. Digital transformation is nothing else than change management. and people don't want to change. That's just the psychology of humans, basically. It takes some time.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, I was born in the 70s, and I used to have maps in papers when I was traveling abroad, and I was asking people, hey, how do I find that way as opposed to now everything is in your pockets? And my grandfather was a painter, and he was painting for logos and shops and all these things. And when the computer came out, and it wasn't these computer we have now, it was like, oh, this is bad, it's ruining everything. Well, but it's changing, right? Like, so we already saw a difference in between advertisement in newspaper as opposed to advertisement over emails, advertisement now over internet, so-called. I think this is the next phase, right? So plug in AI, and it's going to allow new jobs to be created and new opportunities to be. I don't think you fear AI as much as I actually am. I'm excited. I don't know how you feel about it, but.
Yeah, I have a lot of discussions, and some people say, oh, it's dangerous. But I'm always on the positive side. I agree that there are some things, measurements you need to do, and regulations and stuff like that. But I'm always that's why I really think AI first in our publisher, because I want to be the guy who goes into all these issues and tries to solve it and to use it as much as I can. That's why we call ourselves AI first, because we really think AI first. You have always like if you have a startup and you work on some product, your product people and everyone else is like 100% like fully in the product, and they need to deliver something. And if you ask them, but use AI, explore AI, they maybe want to do it, but they don't have time. And that's the issue with all innovations in all companies worldwide. If you just tell them, okay, also try something new, then they will ask you, okay, can I spend less time on the product then? And then you say, maybe not, because we need to ship, right? So that's why it's really hard to integrate AI into existing company or something which is already produced. So that's why we start from day zero with everything we do AI, basically.
I've seen a video from Mark Moss, which was super interesting, and he said that he believes in 3 to 5 years, we will have in between 10 and 20 agents each. So each one of us will have in between 10 and 20 agents, AI agents, for all sorts of different reasons. Booking hotels, booking meetings, paying bills, all sorts of stuff, and they'll interact with each other. Do you see any like dark side in this, any worrying at all in the AI?
No, actually, I only see, obviously, like talking to people and being with people like is a good thing, obviously. But also at the same time, since COVID, it's like so decentralized how people work, and even the connection is going away there, which is not good, I would say. So yeah, I see the point of talking to people, being with people gets less and less, because if you have your AI agent who's managing everything, and all other stuff, and the companies get smaller, you need to talk less to other people. And then even in real life, let's say outside the company, you are on your phone and you play games and whatsoever, like that's not so good probably.
But like you said, it's already happening, right? Technology is already impacting our lives. Like back in the days, agriculture was done, harvesting by hand. Now we have machines. So I think it's an evolution. And instead of being worried about your job being replaced, you can think about how could you make your job faster, right? Or how more relevant.
You need to. That's the issue. Like, even if you're against AI or you don't want to use it, there will be a certain point when a lot of people use it and you don't use it, you will have an issue because you're not as efficient as them. If you want to sell a product, you don't use AI, you are much slower, much more expensive. So at the end, you're forced to use it. It's now still some people say no, and I don't believe in it. I understand maybe, but it will come sooner than people think, I would say, because AI race now has really started with DeepSeek from China coming and obviously stealing a little bit from the others, but at the same time being much cheaper to develop such. Now Grok 3 was released.
I was about to ask you, this is crazy. Have you
from
played
Twitter.
it?
It's really good. I started directly using it because it's actually really good.
It gives you if you throw in like a book, it gives you the mind map of the book in like 2 seconds. Any book. I tried like 50.
Yeah, they announced also now an AI gaming studio. Actually, that they're doing now, because you can create a lot of hyper casual games directly with AI without doing anything. Like it's a one person, very simple game, and this will get much better. So I think in 10 years, it's very easy that you can create good games with AI only.
Yeah, there was this dude on X, Twitter, whatever. He created a GTA style. I don't know if you've seen the tweet. I'll send it to you later.
No,
It's super cool. with like a few scripts, he created a GTA, a Grand Theft Auto, into a Tetris environment.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
Insane. So, I mean, he's going to help speed up also sort of creativity, new games. So, what would you say to someone who has maybe less experience in AI? What would be the best thing for you to tell them on how to operate?
Just start. I mean, I still remember when I used ChatGPT the first time, like it's already like a long time ago. I was so impressed by it, and the same with AI image generation. I was sitting like literally 5 days in front of my PC and generating images because it was like a new experience. You can basically, everything which is in your head, it's the same for my kids. Like if my kids have some idea about some strange creatures, they tell me what they want to see and I type it and I show it to them and they're so happy because it's in their brain and they bring it there. Obviously, it's better to paint it. Like my wife is very she's a teacher, so she makes sure they're very not digital, but it's still like a cool opportunity to bring fantasies to life. So you can use it everywhere and it enhances the experience you have. And I would just start, like there's so much free right now, like Grok 3 on Twitter is for free right now. ChatGPT.
You have to be verified, so it costs a little bit, but not much.
No.
Is it free now?
I think they said it's completely free right now.
Oh, wow.
So you can just download Grok 3 as an app, and you can just start for now. I think ChatGPT also for a certain time you can use for free. DeepSeek you can use for free. So I think just go in there, start. And the point is, some people say, yeah, but what should I do there? Basically, everything you can imagine, you can do there. If you don't know what to do, it's just a lack of creativity, probably, because it can help you in anything you're doing. Writing emails, helping building your game, helping building your AI agent, helping to get ideas for your own book or for your own story or whatsoever. Like it can help you in any way.
It could be like groundwork. I had a beautiful chat on my podcast with a lawyer in the UAE, and she said they have their own AI in terms of law, and they basically explain to the AI it's a private, LM. They want to protect it and own the data. And she said that the language they created equals of a 5 years experienced lawyer. So it does all the groundwork. So that means the AI is not going to entirely replace lawyers, but it's going to replace part of the stuff that they do, like research, groundwork. So you don't have to necessarily fire everyone you have in your team, but you can leverage AI to do some of the heavy lifting. Makes sense, right?
Yeah. No, I mean, this is what's happening, and the people who will succeed are they who have the most data for it. Like if you have a very big law firm and they have a lot of data they can put in to train their model, they will be the most successful because it's the more data you have, the more accurate your LLM is or your AI, whatever you use, and then you can be like very successful. It's the same with big gaming studios. They can put all their data, like all their game designs, all their art pieces,
secrets,
everything into their own AI, and then they can reuse it for the new games. Like they have a advantage. Usually they have an advantage, but the good thing for the smaller publishers and gaming studios is that these big gaming studios, they are very slow in adapting and doing new stuff because there's a lot of GDPR thing, right? Like where's the data going? Like how can I save my data and so on and so forth. And then also with something new, something can go wrong. So they need to check it from compliance. So they are very slow. That's why, and this is again, always in digital transformation with all new tech and everything which is coming new. New companies, big companies are usually not the trendsetters. It's more the small companies who just do it, take the risk, and then they got bought basically by the big companies, so they get the knowledge in-house after that, which is really cool because this is a chance for everyone right now to really go deep into AI, try to test around, check it out, find gaps where AI is not used yet, use it, test it, and this is the cool thing. You can do it so fast and so cheap and just test it out and bring it to the market. And if you have some traction, a lot of companies right now and investors are interested to give you money or to buy your company.
That makes sense. And we used to say knowledge is power. I guess we have to rephrase it because knowledge is so accessible, I suppose, nowadays.
I mean, it's still knowledge, but the knowledge is in the AI, right? So it's not in your brain maybe, but the knowledge is in the AI. So you don't need it anymore. Yeah, it's
exactly.
true.
So if you think about, imagine any profession up to a degree, You have to go through certain academic background, study for certain years, get a degree, get a piece of paper, whatever is certifications. But now you can technically just type into an AI and get a ton of information. So how crazy do you think it's going to get? Do you think they will protect themselves? There's going to be like a bunch of AI nodes protecting the data? Because at some point, they'll have to interact with each other. Do you think it's going to get super competitive, or do you think it's going to stay kind of open source-ish?
I don't know. I was surprised that they are doing it open source like DeepSeek, but they wanted to attack ChatGPT, obviously. That's why they did it. But I think it will go more into a gated version later on again. I think Meta was the first one. They did it open source, right? They were the first.
Yeah, I think so.
I think it was the same. They want to, they want to have this image of we are the cool guys. Like that's why Mark Zuckerberg also changed his outfit and stuff like that.
He's going to Joe Rogan.
Yeah. So that's why they changed probably also that. But I think it needs to be gated at a certain time because they are so powerful, these AIs you can do right now, and create so much value with it that basically they attack, like small companies can attack the big companies right now. And it's a question like if the big companies want to have that or not. I don't know.
And some of it is going to be invisible, right? Like you won't even know that it's happening. On your phone, checking images, checking contacts, proposing new advertisement. So some of it is not going to be tangible in the sense that you're not proactively going to use it. If someone is using it on you and you don't even know, right? Because like you said earlier, you can profile and target.
Yeah, there are also many other issues because all these big companies, they take the data from others, right? So how do they train their models? With data from the internet, and internet is IPs, some IP from some other games or books or whatsoever, and they put it in and they just come through with it. Maybe they need to pay a little bit, but they say, no, it's like our data whatsoever. So this is also like a thing where it's another discussion which is coming up right now, or it's already there since a long time. But this is what big companies just do. They just do what they want to do.
We might end up in having a label on everything, right? This has been AI generated. This comes from AI.
Yeah.
I think we need it at some point, though, to differentiate. I think LinkedIn already does it. When I upload a screenshot or something, it says it's not made by a human. Yeah.
Guys, lovely fireside chat. Good job. Big round of applause.
Thank you.
Let's do a photograph of you two. You're here. My man.